Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 horror film From Black. The film is co-written and directed by Thomas Marchese and it stars Anna Camp, John Ailes and Jennifer LaFleur. Now it focuses on Anna Camp's character Cora, who is an ex-drug abuser, essentially. She used to get really strung up on drugs, heroin, the whole thing. And this one particular day when she's on a high, she's absolutely no idea where her young son is. And it turns out the young son has gone missing and has turned up, unfortunately, dead. We then see her sometime after this, where she's in like a therapy group, learning to cope with the guilt and the emotional trauma that she's gone through. And then she's approached by somebody from the group, Abel, excuse me, who essentially offers her a proposition. And it is simply this: what if there was a way for you to kind of see your son and to get your son back? Now, she thinks it's ridiculous. She thinks he's crazy. It's some kind of seance is he saying to her. But no, he's actually being true about it. He says, I can show you a way for you to get your child back. But essentially, as we know, this is a horror film. It comes at a very, very dear cost, as Cora soon discovers as she explores the dark side in order to try and cling on to the hope that she's going to see her son again. Right, what are my thoughts on From Black? Well, this is quite a bleak, almost drama-like horror. It kind of feels like it's got a very human drama at the centre of it, which can help, obviously, films. We've got this tortured character, Cora, who, is living this torturous life because of the guilt she's feeling for, the death of her son, which essentially was her fault because she was so strung out on drugs. So she's absolutely in such a tortured, horrific place. Her sister plays like the local sheriff, Bray, who's trying desperately, if you like, to keep her on the right track and give her lots of support and things like that. But it kind of gets to the point in the film where Cora is essentially found at a scene of a crime, it would seem like, and her explanations make no sense. And then the film kind of tells itself, through flashbacks almost, you know what I mean? We see Cora at the beginning in the police station with her sister covered in blood and all this kind of stuff, and then the story kind of explains itself as to how she kind of got where she is. So it's grounded by some really, really strong, human characteristics sort of thing, human trauma. It just makes the film really quite bleak. You know what I mean? It's kind of washed out. There's nothing colourful about it. It feels dirty and grim and bleak. And most of the characters in the film are scumbags, quite a lot of them, and people that you wouldn't choose to be around. And it's just like it makes you itch, sort of thing. It just doesn't feel and look pleasant, the film, and it's all done on purpose. So that side of the film, I think, is done really quite well. The exploration of the character, certainly of this Cora. Where I think, unfortunately, where the film fails is where it tries to explore the horror aspects of this story. It shows promise, where she has to essentially go through this ritual, and it's not a quick ritual. It's one that's going to be done over a number of days, sort of thing, and it's very traumatic and saps your energy and so on and so forth. And you'll see and hear weird stuff. That bit's kind of all right, but the payoff here for me was severely lacking. Lots of hints as to what potentially could be coming. And it's one of those films where you see shadows behind people or things floating past them at the back, and you kind of like, what is the end game here? and I couldn't personally get it out of my head. Okay, if I was in her position, yes, obviously I'd be desperate to see my son. But if someone came to me and said, "I've got a way of getting your son back," however, it's gonna involve you chaining yourself to the floor and chanting for like numerous days to, this, that, and the other, you'd be kind of like, forget it. You know what I mean? I'd rather just remember him the way he was rather than dabble with the dark side, sort of thing. Her reasonings behind it, I understood, but it's still like a question why she would do what she would do, especially when she sees and experiences some of the things that she sees and experiences. One of the first things she experiences would scare the living crap out of most people, but she seems to think, oh, well, that definitely means I'm going to see my son now. Well, why? Where's your evidence that you're going to see your son? Something really creepy's just happened. Where's the evidence that you're going to see your son? So she takes it as a positive, where most normal people would be running a mile down the road. So it kind of frustrates you, sort of thing. It keeps knocking at the door, and it keeps hinting at horror, all this kind of stuff. And it's got like a twist that you can see coming a mile away. I wouldn't even call it a twist, to be fair. But it never fully pulls the trigger on the horror side of the film. And the film just abruptly ends, which annoyed me greatly. I'm not going to lie. I was wanting a conclusion. We didn't get it. We just kind of got, boom, there you go, it's finished. And it really did frustrate me greatly, the ending of this film. So it's a difficult film to recommend if you're a horror fan, because I think they misjudge the horror side of it, and I think it's not scary, and it's kind of cliched and stuff. You know what I mean? But it really does deliver on the gritty drama side of it. Like the grounded torment of what this poor woman's going through. That side of it I bought into, and much of that is thanks to the great performance by Anna Camp. But the rest of it, I think, is a disappointment as a horror film. It's got decent production values to it. I think the direction's of a good standard, and I think the performances by pretty much everybody in the film are a very, very, very good standard as well. I just think the film fails to deliver on what it's trying to be, and that's a horror film, unfortunately. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you found it useful. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with more content on the channel very soon.